All right, y'all. It's your boy. Let's pray. I hope you have a blessed and a prosperous day. Look here. I am here with a special episode for you guys. I know I told you I've been in school and I haven't been posting quite a bit, but this is a special post. My professor allowed me to do a podcast video in reference to a children's health topic. So I chose cyberbullying, y'all. This is a huge problem worldwide. So we're going to talk cyberbullying with your boy. Let us pray today. All right. Why did I choose cyberbullying? I chose cyberbullying because bullying is something that is not just happening at school anymore. Okay. Our young people, our youth, our children, our students, there's a different style of bullying that is affecting them, some of them at school. And it's called cyberbullying. It's online harassment, and it's a real threat to kids. It could be a real threat to your children. It could be a real threat to your neighbors, some of your family members, your nieces and nephews. Maybe it doesn't directly affect you, but you probably know somebody who has been a victim of cyberbullying if you haven't been a victim yourself yet. Cyberbullying is a very serious form of harassment, and we're just going to break it down. We're just going to be here maybe about 10-15 minutes and talk about it. Okay, cyberbullying. Teenagers are spending more time growing up online, okay, than they are in the real world. Have you ever seen a group, forget teenagers, adults too, have you ever seen a group of adults just walking across the street lately? What do? They walk across like this. They're on their phones. They're always attached to electronics. Who are they learning it from? They're learning it from adults. They're learning it from their parents. Okay, so we can't really fault them for being attached to the electronics, but with them being online so much, the digital world can be a great place. There's a lot of positives, a lot of great things about having access to almost anything you want at your fingertips, but then there's some negatives too. So we're going to talk about those negatives, positives and negatives. It can be for communication, right? You can keep up with people that you might not otherwise keep up with. You may not have their phone numbers, and you may not be able to keep in touch with them. They might live in other countries or across the country. You may not be able to just take a vacation trip and see them, but you can keep in constant communication with certain people through apps like, social media, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, all those sort of things. It's a great place to share your talents. It's a great place to create. Got a ton of content creators out there, and we have some little children that are out here content creating, and they're doing a wonderful job of creating content for the whole entire world. So the internet and digital media is not the devil. Okay, it's not a bad thing. It definitely has its positives. Okay. But this new frontier brings with it a set of problems, okay? This new frontier, the internet, okay? This frontier we call the internet. Children and teens are being bullied. And when they're being bullied, sometimes it can affect their self-worth because of the constant negative comments that are directed towards them. So let's define cyberbullying first before we get too in depth, okay? Cyberbullying is when someone uses technology to bully or harass another person. Cyberbullying can take on many forms. And it can include text messages, emails, social media posts or social media direct messages, shared files on the internet, okay? Some people think it's not as bad as bullying that happens in person, but we're going to talk about why it can actually be considered more detrimental than bullying in person. All right. Here's another definition of cyberbullying too. Cyberbullying is a term used to describe the use of digital technology to harass, threaten, embarrass, or target another individual. This could include, right, mean text messages or emails, inappropriate information posted, okay, on social networking sites. That's a form of cyberbullying, y'all. Embarrassing pictures or videos being shared without another person's consent. That is cyberbullying, guys. Cyberbullying is a significant problem worldwide, not just in the US, because it affects internet users of all ages. I'm 42 years old. I've been cyberbullied many times. I've been harassed. I've been harassed on YouTube. I've been harassed on Facebook. I've been harassed on, Instagram. Yeah. Unfortunately, you just got people behind their keyboards that have nothing better to do sometimes, guys. So they don't care who they pick on. It's unfortunate, but cyberbullying does not have an age range. Anybody can be affected by it. But we're just going to talk about how it affects our children today, not our adults, okay? According to the latest cyberbullying statistics, over the last 10 years, cyberbullying has rapidly grown. So since 2014, guys, particularly amongst school-aged young people, all right? Those are who we're targeting today. The most dangerous aspect of cyberbullying is that it often goes unnoticed. You're on a keyboard. You're looking at a screen. No one else is around you, and you're getting bullied. How can anybody notice that unless you speak up and say something, right? Often, cyberbullying victims are overwhelmed by anxiety and a lack of clarity on how to deal with it or where to seek support and assistance, guys. This makes it harder for teachers or parents to detect the abuse. Cyberbullying is different from traditional bullying because it can happen 24/7, 365, 52 weeks, 12 months a year. 12 months a year. I was going to keep breaking it down, but your boy's a little tired. I'm not with the breakdown right now, but you can be cyberbullied all day, guys. That's why it can be deemed way more dangerous than just getting bullied in person, because once you get away from that person, once you're at home, once you're in the comforts of your own room, that person can't bother you anymore. But cyberbullying, somebody can reach your accounts from anywhere, any time of day. Doesn't matter. Rain or shine, snow or sleet. I think that's more harmful, personally. Cyberbullying can follow the victim wherever they go on the internet. If you're on the internet, there's a chance you could get cyberbullied. In most cases, cyberbullying are directed at children and teens, unfortunately. Adults are not immune, as I said earlier, to this form of internet harassment, however. So let's break down what types of cyberbullying there are, okay? There's a few types that we want to talk about. So, let's talk about 6 main categories. Offensive name calling. About 32% of U.S. teens face this type of bullying. Number 2, spreading false rumors, gossiping, telling the truth. We used to say selling wolf tickets. And I think the kids say now, that's cap. You capping. You lying, bro. That's not the truth. Receiving unsolicited, explicit pictures. I'm just going to leave that there. I'm not going to elaborate. Constantly asking for their whereabouts and if they're with someone. So that's like almost like a sexual harassment, right? You're interested in someone and you're asking them, are they single? And they're just not responding to you because they're not interested. But you just keep going and going and going and going until you get a response. That's harassment, guys and girls and everyone. That's harassment. Okay. Physical threats. Physical threats. Threatening bodily harm to someone for whatever reason. Maybe you get in an argument. Maybe you're on a sports post and somebody disagrees with your opinion. Do you know some people get highly offended on their keyboard and will threaten to hurt you just because you did not agree with their opinion and threaten you with physical harm. Physical threats amount for 10% of teams having reported receiving physical threats, okay? The sharing of personal and explicit information or images without consent. 7% of the U.S. teen population has fallen victim to this type of bullying, okay? So we got 32% of teens experiencing offensive name calling, 22% experiencing spreading false rumors, 17% experiencing receiving unsolicited explicit pictures, 15% experiencing someone asking them where they are and are they single or are they taken, 10% getting threatened physically, 7% sharing personal or explicit information without a teen's consent. That's a lot. That's just a lot for teens to deal with. So let me give you some more cyberbullying statistical data, okay? Statistical data and facts for 2024 for cyberbullying. With the ease of internet access and the ability to hide behind a computer screen, cyberbullying has given bullies a new platform to harass their victims. Here's some of the shocking cyberbullying statistics and facts to better understand why cyberbullying and online harassment is such an issue. Okay, the Pew Research Center observed at least half of the young U.S. population has faced cyberbullying in 2022. Okay, according to a study early 2021, the COVID-19 pandemic and its aftermath significantly increased online cyberbullying. About 28% of the children around the world, not just the U.S., but globally, okay, have experienced cyberbullying. That's more than 1 out of 4 children globally that have experienced cyberbullying. That's crazy. And some of this cyberbullying is racially motivated, according to the parents, with the highest rates occurring in India and, unfortunately, in the U.S. Even though cyberbullying affects teenagers, mostly 46%, almost 41% of U.S. adults face some form of cyberbullying as well. So let's break it down. Where does this cyberbullying occur? I'm glad you asked. That question. Facebook is the leading social media platform in terms of cyberbullying. That's sad. Accounting for 75% of cyberbullying incidents, while other apps like Twitter or X, Instagram together account for 24.2%. The pandemic brought about a 45% increase. Oh my, that's huge. In our time spent online compared to before the pandemic, right? So we're going to get to that later. Teenagers, unfortunately, with underlying mental health issues when faced with cyberbullying, have shown to have suicidal thoughts, and that's just that's something I just threw in there because we never know what someone's going through. We never know what a person has experienced unless they directly tell us. And even if they do share information with us, we never know how comfortable they are to truly trust us with the full truth and disclose some of the different things that they're going through in their life. So that's why it's really important just to treat everybody kind, man. I live by the rule where you treat others how you want them to treat you. You operate in love. And I'm not going to get off on that tangent because then I'll start talking for 30 minutes. I want to get up out of here in the next 5 minutes, okay? But there is clearly a COVID effect to cyberbullying. Internet usage spiked by 45% during COVID. So nearly half of American teenagers ages 13 to 17, that's 46%, have experienced at least one of those 6 types of cyberbullying that we talked about earlier from 2020 to 2021. That's COVID-19 period, okay? So nearly half of kids during COVID, when they were at home and they were doing home study and they were online, they experienced cyberbullying. Nearly half of them for that 1 year, 2020 to 2021. The effects of COVID on cyberbullying is that the use of digital platforms by children and teenagers surged, as I said before, and it still remains high today. So it didn't just surge at peak and then bottom out. No, it's still surging, if you ask me, and it's surging even more than ever now. The COVID-19 pandemic lockouts have caused individuals throughout the world, including children, to spend 20% more time on social media. Now, we're not just talking about internet usage. We're talking about social media. So Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all those platforms, Snapchat, all that stuff, than they did before the pandemic. This ease of access to the internet has made it very convenient to use apps and games on cell phones, which make them more vulnerable to cyberbullying, unfortunately. I know, I love my games. I haven't been playing my games lately because, your boy just been busy. But there's so many people in those chat rooms. There's so many people on those servers. You never know who you're going to run across. But the internet gives a voice to anyone who uses it. That is the phenomenal thing about it. That's the great thing about it, but that's also the scary thing about it. You have a voice if you could just connect to the internet. But not everyone will use that opportunity to spread positivity, okay? I'm going to skip through because I feel like I'm going a lot, but we touched on online gaming, so let's talk about that a little bit. Pandemic brought more people to online gaming, right? Not just children, but adults too. Cyberbullying followed. Many individuals use video gaming as a source of amusement during COVID-19, while spending extended periods of time cooped up at home, sheltering in place, like the government was telling us to do, like our jobs were telling us to do. You're gonna work remote. You're gonna be at home 24 hours a day, right? Let me fire up the PlayStation. Let me fire up the Xbox. That's what people were doing. One study by Nielsen in 2020 reported that 82% of consumers worldwide played video games and watched game-related content during the lockdown. Ooh, incredible. This led to more bullying with online games, including more adrenaline spiking and violent content. Online co-op games have a lobby feature, right? So, I mean, for me, I play Call of Duty, right? Call of Duty, yeah. You can play Warzone. Warzone is like a first-person shooter, I guess you would call it, where you can get in a lobby and you can team up with 2-3 other people, or even like a big group, and you can play against people from all over the world. But there are times where in that lobby it goes down. People get upset, people get angry because they're losing at the game and they want to take it out on somebody. Um, According to a study made by the Cyberbullying Research Center in 2019, the massively multiplayer online role-playing game, that's like Call of Duty, okay, genre of gaming was the one to attract the most cyberbullying. Did not just say that? They get mad and they want to bully somebody, which accounted for 26.8% of the cyberbullying in online gaming. Third-person shooters and first-person shooters games were close behind at 24.5% and 14.2% respectively. Sporting video games like FIFA, NBA Live, Madden, those type of games, UFC, all those sporting games showed up in a study, making up for 11.9% of the cyberbullying in online gaming. But I think ultimately, when we look at the reason for a lot of the cyberbullying, I keep going back to social media, right? Social media has the highest rate of cyberbullying because most people use their real names and pictures on social media, okay? So you online gaming, nobody really sees your face. They just hear your voice. They don't know what you look like. A lot of times they don't know where you live. They don't know what city you're in unless you're talking to them and you tell them that information. But social media, people can know a lot of information about you by just pulling up your name or your avatar and searching you. So it makes you easily identifiable to cyberbullies. It also gives bullies a sense of anonymity, okay, on social media. They feel they won't be held accountable for their actions because they're behind a computer screen typing, okay? Among social media companies, as I said, Facebook, man, leading the charge. Twitter and Instagram, close second. We already discussed that. Let me keep going. The effects of cyberbullying. Okay, cyberbullying on kids can have drastic effects, which can cause sleep problems. Okay, if your child is having sleep problems, you don't understand why they're not sleeping good, you should ask them about their internet usage. Self-esteem issues, trouble concentrating in school. I've witnessed that myself, and I've had some conversations with parents about that. It can cause eating disorders. Kids don't want to eat when they're on these games, when they're on their electronics. They're almost angry if you ask them to eat. They are like glued and hypnotized to these electronics. And self-harm behaviors, such as cutting and suicide attempts in extreme cases. Cyberbullying puts a huge mental strain on children, on youth, on teens. But it's essential for parents to talk to their children at such times. Let's skip down here. Is cyberbullying legal? This is one of my last points. Is cyberbullying legal? I talked to you about all the horrible effects of cyberbullying, and it seems like the government would just step in and say, stop cyberbullying, right? Although awareness about internet safety and cyberbullying has increased globally over the past decade, many countries still lack federal laws to protect internet users against inappropriate online behavior like cyberbullying. I found that fascinating. What are we waiting on, guys? What are we waiting on? I know it's freedom of speech out there, but what are we waiting on? We got to make some laws against cyberbullying. Cyberbullying and the spreading of harmful messages online is a punishable offense, though, in many countries. So some countries have already stepped up and said, you know what? If you want to get out here and spread negativity and hurt and harm, we're going to punish you. Cyberbullying is not federally illegal in the United States. There are no federal laws against cyberbullying in the U.S. However, all states have various other laws that they could offer protection. The American Federation of Teachers breaks down each state's laws, which provide excellent cyberbullying resources. If you want to look that up, that's the American Federation of Teachers, okay? Especially for school bullying. How many states have passed legislation to criminalize cyberbullying? The number of U.S. states that have passed legislation to criminalize cyberbullying is growing yearly. That's a good thing. The legislation defines cyberbullying as messaging that is malicious or harmful and includes repeated emails, text messages, or posts on social media sites. Electronic harassment statutes specifically cover cyberbullying in 48 states, and 44 states have criminal penalties for cyberbullying in their legislation. So, okay, the states are stepping it up. Now we need the federal government to step it up. The National Crime Prevention Council and the law also make it easier for minors to sue their tormentors in civil court. So you can sue somebody for bullying you and tormenting you and harassing you online. You can sue them. You can take them to civil court. International laws against cyberbullying. So first we're talking local, talking statewide, we're talking federal, now we're talking international. International. Some countries such as Canada, New Zealand, and Japan have cyberbullying laws, while other countries have laws that could apply to cyberbullying. Okay, such as sexual harassment laws or cyber stalking laws. Just another terminology, right? It has also been declared as a form of child abuse in many countries. I think that's amazing. Therefore, there are criminal sanctions for anyone guilty of bullying others. Man, imagine. I don't want to imagine. There's growing global awareness surrounding cyberbullying, okay? According to a report in 2018, Sweden and Italy have the highest awareness percentages of this phenomenon, with 91% of the respondents saying they were aware of cyberbullying. Saudi Arabia has the lowest percentage of awareness at 37%. Meanwhile, Italy has had the largest increase in awareness since 2011. Okay. What actions are social media sites taking to decrease cyberbullying as we get ready to close? Okay, there we close it up. Actions taken by social media sites with a surge of cyberbullying cases occurring in the last decade. I've seen some things out there. Social media sites are employing a number of tactics, right, to stop cyberbullying. Sometimes they, certain people get blocked. Certain people get banned. But the thing about it is, they can always create a new account and then start over. So, blocking someone's username is really not going to solve the issue, because they can just create another one in 30 seconds and then hop back on. But you have to start somewhere, right? They've created a space for people to report bullying. We're talking about social media sites and protocols to take action against bullies. And I'll say also, I know it was talk about the gaming industry, PlayStation, Call of Duty, those type of games. They have a safe space for you to report bullying or harassment, and then they have the different categories for bullying on there. So, kudos to them for doing that. Like I said, I'm not sure how it will ultimately help when they can just create a new username and hop back on, but like I said, we have to start somewhere. Social media sites also are starting to use artificial intelligence to detect bullying behavior and take action against it. So there's some positive media press for AI. During the most recently reported period, Meta reported that hate speech on Facebook declined from 13.5 million to 10.6 million instances per quarter. Isn't that ridiculous? The fact that we've been talking about 10.6 million cases of cyberbullying being reported in just a quarter. That's 3 months, y'all. It's crazy. The social network site defines hate speech as explicit criticism or another of another person based on race, ethnicity, religion, sexual orientation, gender, condition, or other characteristics. Okay. And as I get ready to close, because I feel like this was way too long, what role do parents play in preventing cyberbullying? Because we're talking about, you know, our youth, our teens, all the effects it can have on them. But what can the parents do to prevent? What role do the parents play? A 2022 survey found that about 45% of British parents trust their children to make appropriate internet material choices rather than relying on technological limitations. So basically, I'm going to trust that you're going to do the right thing. You can have your tablet, you can have your PlayStation, you can have your Xbox. I'm giving you this responsibility. Versus saying, hey, the internet is dangerous. It's full of crazy people. I don't want you on the tablet. I don't want you on that laptop unless I'm right next to you and I can supervise you. And I think that's, two different approaches, right? I'm not saying one is wrong and one is right, but I think that definitely happens. So only 5% of the respondents said they had this chat with their kid once, whereas almost half of those who responded said they did so every few weeks. So they talked about the dangers of cyberbullying and the type of choices they're making with their internet usage, right? This suggests that parents are not only having this important discussion with their children, right, but they're also continuing the conversation as these children grow older. So I think that's how parents can really help, just to continue to keep that line of communication open. You can't just talk about it once. It has to be a constant conversation with your children. So that's all I got for you, man. The effects of cyberbullying. I hope that you learned something today. My source, pewresearch.org. I got a lot of my information from there. So shout out to pewresearch.org for all the studies they did on cyberbullying with teens. I really wish there was some sort of solution or answer that I could come up with for you, but I just wanted to, if teens are watching this, or if children are watching this, or if parents are watching this, please make sure that your children are safe online. If you are a child or if you are a teenager, please make sure that you're making wise decisions online. And I'm hoping that there's nobody in here that may be a cyberbully, but if you are, if you heard about all the effects it has on children, lack of sleep, classroom performance, depression, all those things. Let's be kind to one another, man. Let's just all get along. So it's your boy, Let's Pray. I hope you're having a blessed and prosperous day. I've been away for a while. I truly enjoyed this, though. Thank you to Dr. Love. If you've even made it this far, you might have got bored and fell asleep, but thank you, Dr. Love, for allowing me to do my project as a podcast, and I didn't have to write a paper because I'm all papered out for now. But yeah, shout out to Dr. Love, man. Thank you so much. Have a blessed and a prosperous rest of your Friday. Peace. And I'm out.